Hello and welcome back.
Sorry, you're not enough for me. Hello and welcome to Sam's on Wrestling.
I've heard that before.
You're not enough for me.
I'm really upset. You just told me to.
Go on, you can do it. I'm ready. I just wanted
You
to
just told me to host the video and then immediately go, no.
You're not enough for me.
Yeah, thanks. I'll see you again
more.
We should do this again sometime. Hello and welcome back to Sam's on Wrestling as I relive my dating history. And today we are doing the Power Rankings, where we look at individual wrestlers, sometimes tag teams, sometimes men, sometimes women, and we give them a score in 10 categories out of 10 each, giving us each a score of 100. We combine those scores to create a score out of 200 to rank all of the wrestlers, as Sam has nervous twitches.
Trying to get to 200.
Yeah, that's a lot of tens.
Then Title is just going mad in the background.
Exactly. And then we decide who are the best wrestlers in their categories. But if you would like to see more Power Rankings, don't forget to like, share, and what else, Sam?
Subscribe.
Excellent.
It's an interesting one, this one, because we've done quite a few female talent, and last month we did Layla, and we decided that the best person to do was Michelle McCool.
Well, they go together. I think Layla would have got lonely in there if we didn't have Michelle.
I get that.
Yeah.
So one of the funny things about Michelle, this is genuinely true, and one of the reasons we're like, yeah, okay, we're definitely going to do that is, if you might watch some of our other videos, I did an Educating Sam on not Total Divas,
Diva Search.
Diva Search, yes. It'll be here if you've got it on laptop or iPad and stuff like that. Go and watch that. But what Sam discovered is Michelle McCool is from the Diva Search, and it turns out she's an amazing dodgeball player.
Far too good.
She's really good.
Destroyed the entire women's division.
She was in the SummerSlam. Yeah. Like, if you don't know about it, go and watch this like random shoot dodgeball game between untrained wrestlers and the trained wrestlers, and she eliminates the entire team on her own. And you're like, she's an actual athlete. Did she win? No, she came 7th.
Yeah. But I think she's possibly the best.
I think
to come out of it.
I would go Alexa Bliss.
Oh, Alexa Bliss.
Yes,
did, yeah.
But in terms of maybe the finals,
those
top
like the
10,
OG Divas.
from the OG, she smashes everyone out of the water because it's only Christy Hemming and Maria, really. But let's go and have a look on where Michelle McCool, Mrs. Undertaker, is going to land on our leaderboard.
So the first category that we rank is wrestling ability. Sam, what have you given her out of 10?
I struggle with this one because she is just before the women's evolution kicks in. And she is the number one wrestler there, along with Beth. And she's a really good worker. But I never looked at her and went, you are an amazing wrestler. I never went, you are amazing. And I think that got shown every time she was with someone like Mickie James. And that was who she kind of feuded with the most. And Mickie James is obviously just a superior wrestler to her. And I was there going, what score would I give Mickie? And I said, in my head, Mickey is probably about an 8. Because I don't think she's up there with the 9s and 10s of the world of your Askas and Charlotte Flairs and Becky's and all people like that. And I'm like, and Rhea Ripley. And I was like, so therefore, if I give her an 8, I'm going to give Michelle McCool a 7. And I was like, and it feels harsh, but at the same time, I think Michelle would hold her own in the current era of women's brilliant wrestling. But I don't think she would look the best wrestler. And I just think 7... grading on a curve, grading on the Divas era, I think 7 felt right to me. What have you gone with?
I gave her an 8.
Yeah, you did go for the 8.
I think we often try and contextualise the era that they were in.
Beth, for example.
So the amount of time these women would usually get to work.
Oh,
the opponents they would usually have.
She got the most time, admittedly.
No, admittedly, but what's that back then? Like,
no, she got more.
8, 9, 10 minutes.
Yeah, she got that time. She did get that time. So it was very hard for her to put down. Oh, well, there's another question. You said contextualising. Could she do a 15-minute match that would have been really high ranking?
I think it's possible, but then you also think, well, was the training there for them at the time?
No, it was
Finlay to do that.
It's Finlay alone, isn't it?
Yeah, just doing his absolute best, and he did a great job.
Finlay, honestly, genuinely, it may be one of the greatest women's associated wrestlers of all time because of what he did. He did so much for these girls who couldn't wrestle. And Michelle McCool came in with no wrestling ability. Let's put that into context. Diva Search 2004, obviously a clear athlete, but had no wrestling ability, had come in with these terrible gimmicks at first, and she got better and better. Is there somebody, in terms of where they started to where they ended, bar, I'm going to go Trish, improved as much as someone like Michelle McCool? There's not many. Not many who went from there to there.
Yeah, from absolute ground zero.
She was
I'd
on
have to
ground
think
zero.
about that, yeah.
She had natural athletic ability, but had zero wrestling skill.
I mean, Ronda picked it up very quickly,
But
she's already a UFC fighter.
She's a UFC fighter. She's had wrestling training, jiu-jitsu training. I don't think that counts. And as much as I understand your point, but I think she's really. I think I would put her as the second greatest improver in the wrestling industry ever. I think.
Yeah, and I think she just had the fundamentals really down.
She did.
You wouldn't see much sloppiness or botches from her, even when she was against sloppy botches.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't think she was clean. I wouldn't go. She was a clean wrestler, but I wouldn't say she was botchy. I think 7, 8. I can understand your 8. I don't think I put her in upper echelon of female workers.
Now we move on to their storytelling. Now this is about storytelling in the ring as opposed to maybe storylines. Sam, what have you gone with for in-ring storytelling?
I'm going to ignore storylines because Piggy James exist. And we talked about that enough in Layla. If you want to see us talk more about the Piggy James game, go watch the Layla one. I'll put it up here as well. How many cards are going to be in here? The best thing is if you watch on your phone, there's no cards. They're not there. So just me pointing, it's just blank. Just
things.
But go and watch our Layla one to see more about Piggy James. So I'll ignore that storyline. I'm going to keep it nice and short and sweet. I think it's the exact same as her wrestling ability. I think it's a 7. I think she could tell okay stories. She didn't get the time to be able to tell long stories, but she could tell a heel kind of, taking control and all that jazz sort of story. I went with 7. I think she's very middling, and I think if she was given 15 minutes in the modern era, she could probably tell a relatively decent story.
I gave her 7 as well.
Yeah.
I just think she can tell a very simple, understandable story within the time she's given, and especially as a heel.
She got a heel character over in the story. I think she did.
Next, we move on to their promo skills. Sam, what have you gone with her promo skills?
I think this is one of her strengths. I think she's an exceptional talker. I think she's really, really, really good. And I think this is why she would hold her own. Now, if she turned up now, let's say, forget the 7 years of training, she turned up as 2011, Michelle McCool, and turned up now, young and, and all that jazz, I think she would get over really fast as a heel. And I think that's via her promo skills. I've gone for an 8. I think she's one of the best female talkers there has been. She's not the best, that's why she's not in the air, but she's in the upper echelon for me. And the only reason I think I've dropped it down is because it took her a long time to get to that point. There was a lot of very bad, awful. You think about her, she was weirdly with Chuck Palumbo and badly acting. It wasn't until she found her heel character that suddenly it came out. Maybe she was given better scripts and she was able to also present those scripts.
Well, I also think that if she's coming from scratch, you've got to let her fail a lot of times to learn.
Absolutely.
She's got to get there.
But this is the problem with this is why we have to be careful with how we judge a lot of the women from the Divas era, is they were just thrown onto TV. You're meant to hide those people. No, you're meant to go and train them.
So those failures are meant to mainly happen behind closed doors.
And we had to see them. And they were there for a while. Like, she debuted in 2005. And the Chuck Palumbo thing is 2008. So this is 3 years of this babyface, terrible, can't act, can't talk character.
That is what it was like back then. It was like, Kurt Angle said when he got to WWE, he was told by Vince to do this 10-minute promo and just told to go and memorise everything Vince had told him. And that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, it was. But she didn't do it. But then when she was given a script that she could get her teeth into, she nailed it.
She was really good, so I've given her an 8.
Yeah, I think 8's correct. I really do. I would look, again, if she would have turned up and they'd given her the training and then she came up with the heel character and she started from there, 10. That's where I would be at.
Really?
Yeah, genuinely.
Wow.
I'm talking about that. There's half of her career is really bad, and the other half is exceptional. And I don't think you can. I know we're judging it the best, and but we have to say there has to be negative taken into consideration. And when I am shocked you've not been released, that's not good. But I'm so happy she wasn't, because wow, what we got after was brilliant.
Now we move on to their look. So this can be attractiveness, but it also can be attire, general appearance, whether their appearance suits their character they're trying to portray. Sam, what have you gone with for look?
I've gone with your latter. I think the appearance suited the character she was going to play, this kind of mean girl sort of look.
Yes.
There's 2 things. We judged this on Layla as well. We gave Layla, I think, a 7 as well. And I'm giving her a 7 because it was a lot of the outfits outside. What have you gone with, Bo?
I've also gone 7.
Yeah, I can't not be, yeah. I think the outside of the wrestling, she wore so many cool outfits. I remember like leather jackets, and I remember her link with Lay Cool. I know we can't talk about Lay Cool as much, but it was mainly what she was. But Layla was a manager, really. I know they were a tag team, but in reality, they were very rarely tagged in reality. They did have a tag team tables match, actually, and they weren't big enough to go through the table.
Oh, no.
They landed on the table, and it didn't split, so Natalia had to dive onto both of them to go through the table. What colour was the table?
Well, I would usually guess brown, but is it pink?
It's pink because it's the Divas era. Oh, great. But also liked her look that she had, because she had kind of like furry boots a lot of the time. It was long trousers. She wasn't there to go, I am a sexy diva. I'm looking. She never went for that. It was to look good. And I liked it. I also like the curly hair as well, because there's something weird about curling your hair. It kind of, as a heel, it does just make you go, look how much I'm primed. I'm better than you. And I know that's me looking into it, but I really enjoyed it. And I'm also going to throw out one more thing. When she entered the Royal Rumble from the crowd, I love that she wrestled in Ugg boots. So ergo, definitely a 7.
And now we move on to their entrance. Sam, what are you giving this out of 10?
I went 7.
That's not enough for me.
Was it not?
No.
I'll give you 8 then.
Yeah.
No, I'm sticking with 7.
Yeah.
I think the problem is I like the song. I think the song really suits her.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time the entrance was good with Layla and them kind of being mean girls. When she did it on her own, it was just kind of a walk to the ring. So I was kind of up and down, actually more 6 and 7 rather than 7 and 8. Why have you gone 8?
I just think it's a tune, to be honest. Not too much thought put into it.
You love rating on a tune and just forget the rest.
Because you know what, Sam?
Just listen to Spotify.
No, well, I do. These days we are starved of tunes.
Yeah.
So this is the problem. So when I look at entrance like this, I go, oh, I actually quite enjoy watching the entrance. Honestly, 80% of entrances are skippable nowadays.
When we start doing a lot of the modern women in like 2 or 3 years' time, when they come there's a bit more for us to talk about, and we get to the entrance, majority of them are going to be so low because there's nothing. I couldn't even tell you half the entrances now.
Exactly, and we don't have to research this. We don't have to look this up. We all know.
We just started singing it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's an
If you want to know if someone has a good entrance, or you want to know if I've had any entrance, literally just go up to someone, name a wrestler, and go, "What's that?" For example, you weren't even watching this time. Christian in the early 2000s. Go for it. What was it?
Christian.
Start singing it. Wasn't even watching.
You're on your own.
Not even watching. Yep. Knows it. Sky too high.
Oh, turn it up. And then just the pop.
Not even watching.
Yeah.
And he can still attribute to it, right? How many can you do that now with? I agree with you, but I'm going with the whole package.
I get it.
The whole package to me is a 7.
A tune gets an 8 from me. Now we look at their work as a heel, and Sam, I think this is some of her best work. What are you going to give her for this?
I was trying to place it with the grading on a curve, grading on the era, grading where it would be, and I just had to sit there and go, do you know what? I'm giving her a 9.
Oh, yeah.
And I was more deciding whether she was a 9 or a 10, and the only reason it's 10 is because I hated the Piggy James stuff. I think it went too far, and that is the only reason I dropped it down to a 10. I know that's unfair, but at the same time, it was not good heel stuff. It became... This is bad. I don't like it. You're making me uncomfortable. Not her fault. Not her fault, but it is the storyline. We have to go with what's on camera. Yeah. So I went with 9 for heel work because, quite frankly, I think she may be one of the best female heels. Especially, there's a reason she was the number 1 in the Divas era. Because she was the best heel and the best character, and you can have her be the kind of Charlotte Flair of the time, really.
Oh, that's an insult to Michelle McCool, but I understand what you mean. Charlotte Flair done right. Actually done properly, yes.
Maybe,
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, she got her comeuppance and lost.
What a novelty, yeah. With the Piggy James stuff, I've given her an 8 for this.
Really? You got lower?
But I will also devil's advocate the Piggy James stuff, not in terms of, we know the backstage story of they thought Mickey James was actually fat for some reason. That's nonsense, idiocy. Let's just leave that out of it. The psychology of mean girls calling another girl fat, usually the girl in question isn't actually fat, but they're made to think they're fat. So that's the psychology of it. The problem is the backstage...
They never said it on camera, though. They never went, no,
I know.
They didn't.
I'm at least trying to...
But you've got... So you're advocating the thing that I dropped it down with, so why are you one below me, then?
I don't know. I just couldn't give her a 9 or a 10. I don't know that she was given enough to be put in that category.
Quick question. What female, then? Because remember, this is on female, so we're not giving them the same ranking as you do the men's. They're ranked completely different, because we did it on the men's, there'll be some people who'd be scoring, 10, because it'd be unfair on them. Could you imagine if we're ranking Kelly in the same bracket as the men? It'd be unfair. Now, the women of nowadays could be on the same bracket, but this is why we have to do on the curve. Same for tag teams. We have to rank them differently. You didn't give the Hardys a 10 because you're like, no, Stone Cold is the most over. And I was like, but they're not tag teams. No tag team is that over. You have to judge it on a curve. Who have you got female-wise who is 9 and 10 then, as a heel?
I could give Alexa Bliss a 9. For me.
So that's my point, though. Is it one-off wrestlers? But because I think that she's equivalent to Alexa Bliss on heel work.
Maybe. I think singles people I tend to with heel work, I'd probably still rank them alongside the men. But you make a good point in terms of the context.
You've got to do it on that curve.
So
you imagine you can only judge it almost similar to the men from like 2016 onwards, really, because they weren't given the time, they weren't given the characters and all that jazz years ago. They were just used as divas and all that jazz. So you have to like Beth Phoenix. If we did it on Beth Phoenix would score way lower than we actually gave her because she was working with Kelly every week. So you'd have to go, oh, wrestling ability is a 4 because she only had 5-minute matches.
Well, yeah, I understand that point, but then I go, in terms of, when you look at a heel, you look at a body of work, and her body of work is not her fault, because other than Piggy James' storyline, how many storylines can you name of Michelle McCool?
Yeah, okay, that's a valid point. That is a valid point.
And you've got to look at that.
But
it's not her fault.
But again, that's judging on a curve.
Agreed.
Isn't it?
It's not her fault. But when I can't name multiple good feuds that she's had, not her fault, I'd struggle to give her more than an 8.
Fair enough. That's a good justification. Thank you very much. I needed justification.
And now we look at their work as a babyface. This is interesting, Sam. Is she going to lose a few points here for you? Yeah. What have you given her? 3. So I didn't see the third finger. There's the third one. I was looking from this side. I couldn't see that.
Wow, the math skills of the young.
I couldn't see your third finger. It's eyesight, not math.
Do you know what it was? It's because teachers said for years, you're not going to have a calculator on you at all times, and then the phone invented the calculator. Right. And now every kid doesn't know how to do basic arithmetic.
It's also just all my teachers would also do this to me. So just because they didn't like me. I'm used to doing that.
Every single face thing that I've already mentioned, I'm Michelle McCool, and I'm loving life. You can do anything else? No.
She's loving life.
She's loving life.
How can you be against that?
I'm not against it. So it's not entertaining.
10.
Then she also had a weird storyline with Jamie Noble and Chuck Palumbo where she was facing. She was getting kind of abused by Chuck Palumbo, and then like Jamie Noble was like her savior, and then it went nothing. Her face work generally is abysmal. I think she'd be a great face now. I think if she came back now and actually worked for a year, which I think she definitely could do, she is fit and healthy enough to do it. I really do. She looked great at both Rumbles. Everyone got really annoyed when she had the most Royal Rumble eliminations in 2018.
Yeah, they did.
And I was like, I have no problem with that, to be honest.
I'd rather you give it to someone on the current roster.
I get that.
But now I'm older, I don't care.
Yeah, that's the thing. I literally just went, she only eliminated 4.
Did she?
It was only 4. So it wasn't like she caned it. She literally came in, eliminated. I think it was more problem she eliminated all young people was the problem. If she came in and eliminated Kelly and Tori Wilson, I would have had a little bit more sympathy for it. But for me, she's got nothing. And I'm being very generous, giving her a 3, and it's almost a little bit on potential and the fact that if she comes out now, she'll get legendary pop. But generally speaking, there is nothing to hold on to, and we can't do the whole, she's never been a babyface judge because she has, and it was bad. And 3 is generous.
I gave her a 5 because...
Why? What? Explain.
I'm trying to.
There is nothing.
So I thought she got some good pops in the Rumble and was playing a babyface there.
So you're literally up for one night appearance as a legend coming back. Well, then she's
done it multiple times.
Then every legend is a 10. She's done 2 Rumble appearances.
That's multiple.
Yeah.
Did I say multiple? I said multiple.
You are literally judging her entire...
I'm not giving her a good score.
You're giving her entire career. You're judging her entire babyface career based on 2 nights, not the entire career for 3 years when she was a babyface doing nothing.
I've only given her 2 more points than you.
And it's wrong. It's 20%. It's 20% of the overall. No, that is so wrong.
Well, I've given it.
I love Michelle McCool, but she has nothing. If she has to come back to do babyface, you can't just go, oh, I loved her 2 minutes in the Rumble from 2021.
More than 2 minutes.
2022. No, I meant the 2022 one, whatever it was, which came out of the crowd, which was great. I loved that. But she's going to get popped because she's a legend.
She appeared after the main event of WrestleMania 33 and kissed the Undertaker, and that was a babyface moment.
Am I clutching? No, you are. Yeah. Drop it down to a 4 now.
4.5?
4 now.
4.
Put it to a 4. I normally I'm like, do whatever you want, give it a score. Put that down to 4 now. Do it.
See what I have to deal with.
Put it down to 4 now. Say it. Say it for the camera.
5.
4.
5.
Damn it.
I'll do a 4.
Yay.
See the abuse I receive. And now we move on to gimmick/personality. Sam, what score are you going to make me give Michelle McCool for this one and pretend it's my own score?
I give her an 8.
Yeah, okay, well, I have to go for an 8 then. I did actually put an 8.
Oh, then great. We'll move on then. There you
Fantastic.
Go. We'll move on.
Oh, easy.
I think we've covered it a lot with the heel work, to be fair. A lot of Layla from that, because she just... The Mean Girls gimmick really works, and she had personality to deliver those promos. If you can deliver scripted promos and get a pop, get entertaining, you must know what you're doing. And the gimmick really worked, particularly in the Divas era. It was perfect. Hence why she was the number 1. She was number 1 in a sea of Eve Torreses.
Now we look at how over or how much of a draw they were, how much kind of crowd reaction did they get, how much money did they bring in. Sam, what have you gone with?
It's a tough one because they got no money because they weren't given any time, but they were over enough to be NXT like coaches, weren't they?
Mentors, I
they
believe.
were Cavals, and they were trying to make Caval interesting, which is hilarious. Trying to make Senshi interesting. Just listen to him talk. You ever heard him talk?
No.
He talked really low, like it's like it sounds fake. Is
it actually fake?
It's like, no.
Oh, wow.
He has this unbelievably deep voice. It's like butter. It's amazing.
Oh, wow.
You could have just done that, but no, he looks like a flute and he's going swimming. But I think that they got such decent responses every time they came out. It was always a response. I think the gimmick ran its course, and I think she left weirdly kind of at the right time for the gimmick. Not for her career, because I think it would have been great to see her carry on for years, but she wanted to become a mother and a wife, and she's been lovely. It's just lovely to see when someone, gets that wholesome family. I always love that. I'm a big fan of that. And men or female, by the way. I just love watching a wholesome family, and they look like a lovely little family. They really do. Did you enjoy the Undertaker documentary? I thought they looked just.
Oh, it's a great.
They just looked age ago, obviously.
Yeah, it's a great documentary.
It was really lovely just to see their dynamic, and you just wouldn't expect that dynamic between them because it sounds like a wrestler thing, and then you get it, and they just look lovely. I've gone left field there. Yeah. Over, I think she was 7. I think she was always over, but I don't think she's upper echelon over. I think
7's the right call.
Yeah.
Next, we move on to their finisher, and we have the Styles Clash. Let's be frank here, is what we're going with. I'm seeing hesitance from you. Do you not like the Styles Clash, or do you not like...
I love the Styles Clash.
Yeah.
I don't like it being done by Michelle McCool.
Do you not?
And you know my rules. If it's done by somebody else, particularly if they've only just been there or they're in another company, I have a real problem with it because it's lazy. Yeah. And also, she doesn't do it well. And as much as I love the Styles Clash, Sam, it's not hers. She can't take it. It's not right. It's not fair. I've given her a 5.
Oh, wow. I didn't give her a 5. I didn't know AJ Styles existed when I was a kid. So
you do now.
No, so she was the first person I saw do it.
You've been doing it since 2002.
And then I saw Styles come and was like, oh, that's Michelle McCool's finisher.
Oh, that's the worst thing. How bad's that?
No,
you see AJ Styles and like, Michelle McCool.
It wasn't when he turned up in WWE. I researched him in Japan, and when I was watching him in Japan, I'd seen him.
What an insult that is.
I know.
Look at the Michelle McCool move. Oh my god. That's like
a dagger. That's how young I am.
No.
I know.
God, you're so young.
I know.
Oh, we've been reviewing TNA, Sam.
Yeah, not like when I was 10.
Yeah, but you're now old enough. You can now give it a real score.
No, I know. So I had a 9 because I got excited by the Styles Clash.
I like the move.
Oh, no, I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8.
No!
Yeah, I'll give it an 8. Slightly to my guns. No, I like it. What other women is doing a finisher like that?
No, I agree, but she clearly watched TNA and stole it.
Yeah, it's a good finisher.
Do you know what's the worst?
CM Punk stole the GTS.
Do you know what the worst thing? This is how, right, genuinely stupid and lazy Vince is. The Styles Clash was banned by Vince when AJ turned up.
Yeah, no,
right?
I know the story.
And because he thought it was dangerous. And then Jericho hit the move himself, I believe, and another one. I went, that's a cool move. And I went, yeah, it's fine, it's safe. And as much as that story, and there's more into that story, Michelle McCool was doing it for 6 years prior. What do you mean it's unsafe? You had a woman not particularly overly trained.
No, it's not just that. The women receiving it.
That's my point. Doing it to people who can't train, who have to go against the norm, which is to raise your chin up, not down when you take a move. No. I still think 8 is way too much.
Give it. So now we combine each of our total scores. So Sam, what did you give Michelle McCool out of 100?
I gave her a 68, just below a 7 out of 10, which I kind of think she's exactly what that. 7 out of 10, I think.
I gave her 73.
7 out of 10, give or take. So that overall score of 141.
Ooh.
Where's that put her on the women's leaderboard, Sam?
It actually puts her in a solid 3rd place. Very easily
we've got
3rd place.
Displacing Mandy Rose. We've got a new person in our the little stars over there. There you go. Over the bronze medal position. And do you know what? Out of all the women we've done, I think Asuka, Beth, McCool is the exact top 3. And I think in an exact order. I think Beth is better than Michelle. I think she's a better character. And I think Asuka is better than Beth. I think that's excellent. So, Thank you very much for joining. How would you judge Michelle McCool? Do you want us to do Lay Cool now? We've done Layla, we've done Michelle, maybe we can do Lay Cool. We'll give it a bit of time. We'll give it a bit of rest. But we will do it one day. Thank you very much. Let me get the lecture and go follow us on all things. Go watch all the other ones to see how the people landed on our leaderboard. And we will see you next time. Au revoir.